Live with little or no editing, it's Defense Up. I'm Run7. How you doing? This is the Crucible edition, and Jgiusti was on voice helping me out along with chat, so if you have any problems with the recommendations, be sure to blame him and not me. We grade on 5 different criteria, who you're using to place with their power levels or ISOs and what kind of mood I'm in, but we kind of swing wide on these Crucible ones a little bit here. Boozey is coming in at about 9.5 million TCP, working at Gold 2. And we're gonna go over their roster. Got some interesting switch ups. It's always kind of challenging when you work with the different levels of roster power and different levels of Crucible layers and all that stuff. So we're gonna make some big changes to a lot of this. It's gonna be tough because I don't know what else is in Boozey's roster, but we're gonna do our best to think about those earlier unlocks and stuff as we go through. Team number 1 here should probably just be a straight Death Seed team. They're new, they're tough to get through. People don't know how to play them. They're surprisingly durable as a Crucible defense. They're not gonna get you any wins, but they are going to soak up a lot of turns and efficiency. Also, Hela and Zim, we decided, are probably going to be better used on offense because you can combine them with some things to make a lot of stuff happen for you. So let's take Hela and Zim off of this team, put Magneto and Psylocke back in it. Of course, you're going to go all strikers and skirmisher on Dark Beast, keeping Dark Beast and Nemesis to the outside. The placement otherwise is, who cares, is in the middle. There's no adjacency stuff. That's just kind of the popular way to put them. So for this one, kind of everything done right for the way this is, but we like an alternative composition than this. So I'm going to give this one a B and move on to team number 2, which is the Hero as Guardians. You could change placement with Valkyrie and Heimdall, putting the newer characters and more powerful, important characters up front. Sif should probably be a Raider as well. Fortifier is a pretty decent secondary choice, though. I like this as a defense, especially in the earlier levels. People underestimate them. They're not getting their war bonuses, but they still do pretty good. And there's some compositions that a lot of people don't want to invest in that blow this thing away, but it's not a great investment. That's something that later players would have invested in. So this is a good newer player investment. Pretty rugged team here. I'm going to give this one an A-. Tinkering with it isn't going to add a lot of value, but it doesn't hurt to change them up. All right, team number 3 is the Tangled Web with the Dad Bros and Loki. Loki's not adding any value here. He adjusts the speed of Mystic characters. There's no Mystics on here. I believe Weaver might be Mystic or something like that, but that doesn't matter because Weaver's gonna go really fast with 99 in here anyways. That's not what you want to do. You want to get a pre-taunt tank in here because the War Dogs or the Wakandans, whatever variation you want to use on there, which is probably going to be the War Dogs with Emma, are going to get in here and shut Weaver down before you get a chance to go if you don't put in a pre-taunt tank like a Drax or a Bishop. So our recommendation is get these 3 people out of here. Go Tangled Web with Axemen. That's Bishop, Jubilee, and Beast. That's going to give you a much more rugged defense that people are going to have trouble getting through. That calls for a whole lot of other stuff to beat that. If you want to stick with this, a lot of people were saying put Noir in there instead of Loki, but that's a bad idea for the same reason. You need that pre-taunt tank to protect you. It's still going to be beaten by the War Dogs. You could do Noir for the crit damage to get the Dad Bros going. We don't like that. We want the pre-taunt tank. You definitely need to put Raider on 99 for the crit damage to help the Dad Bros get going. But again, let's just go that Axemen route. We're going to take the Dad Bros and put them on a separate defense all by themselves because we got some places that we want to replace some stuff here. Some places that we want to replace stuff? I think I said that right. Anyway, this is kind of a hot mess. I'm going C- on this. I don't like this one at all. It's going to get crushed, and you could make 2 different defenses out of this with other stuff. Moving on to team number 4 is the Wakandans. It's the War Dogs. We like this on offense better, replacing Nakia with Emma for going into Tangled Web teams, replacing her with Killmonger. When your Killmonger's built way up, that usually works a little bit better. We're finding out that she's actually the better choice for the Scourge run, but that's a whole nother conversation. Anyway, the ISOs on this team are pretty good, but we want this team on offense. We're going to replace this with the Young Avengers, which is a very rugged, very versatile team, a great investment because they have value everywhere as just a good team. They also soak up a ton when you go into them, especially when you also have the Gamma team on defense, because the main counters for Gamma, the efficient counters for Gamma and YA both require Doom. So let's pull this, use them on offense, get YA in here. Otherwise, if you like this team, probably go with the OG Wakandans over this rather than this team, although the placement, I guess, is fine and the ISOs are good on this. So I'm gonna give this a team a B. I would probably give it an A- if it was the OG Wakandans with the correct placement. And I would give it an A if it was the YA put in here in the right positioning. All right, moving on. We have the Web Warriors. Now, we talked a lot about this at Gold 2, at 9 million TC power. This is probably an acceptable defense because everybody's kind of on the fence whether they have the Bionic Avengers fully unlocked to get through it. You're going to struggle if you only have pieces of Bionic Avengers. You got to put in stuff that has unavoidable attacks to kill these Web Warriors efficiently. But going forth, Boozey should definitely, one, not invest in the Web Warriors anymore. They're just going to get replaced by other stuff. It's going to be a challenge at first to get through certain things without the Web Warriors. We talked about them being needed in Scourge. We talked about them being needed as a city team. And I just think other things are coming out or could be used at this point to struggle through without investing in this team any further. Jgiusti likes going 75 on the level with these guys and gear tier 14, and then absolute stop, don't go any further. I would say try and avoid building them altogether if you can. It's a rough spot to be in, but in the future, you will have saved a full team's worth of resources. You can get through Scourges with the Dark Hunter team. You can get through City with other City characters like Shang-Chi, Cloak and Dagger, things like that. And those characters are gonna have value elsewhere where this team just gets rolled everywhere. They have no value anymore. The Rebirth team replaces them in raids, so I don't like building them. But if you have them built like this, probably could be using it for the next couple of weeks to a month. But pretty soon, as you go up, as you progress, you're going to see more and more teams just coming in here with Bionic Avengers hitting auto, and it's a waste. So what we should probably try and do is replace this team with the Gamma team. Probably put Gamma in 6 and move your 6 teams elsewhere. But see if we can't replace this in the future with the Gamma team. Otherwise, I think, well, I don't really like the ISO choice for Scarlet Spider, but otherwise everything's fine on here. So I'm going to give this team a B. It just doesn't excite me. I want to see it replaced with Gamma in the future, and the ISO choice on Scarlet's questionable. Okay, over here, this is other stuff that we talked about earlier. We're going to take this team apart and use them. We're going to take the Death Seed members, put them back in room 1. We're going to take the Axemen, put them with Tangled Web. We're going to use the Dad Bros to create the leftover Dad Bros from the Tangled team. We're going to use that to create a new Dad Bro defense with a pre-taunt tank and people that crit and go fast early to get those Dad Bros going and create something that's fast and hit hard out of the gates. We also talked about having a Gamma team in here. And then I think Boozey should probably keep those big, huge teams like the Darkhold team, or if they have an Infinity Watch, you know, keep those teams for offense because they've got their Tangled Web on defense, so they don't really have a great Tangled Web counter. They've got their War Dogs on defense, so that's not going into Tangled Web, so they got to have something for Tangled Web. So this team right here is just I don't even want to grade it because we just got to take it apart and use it elsewhere. Let's see, Magneto is a skirmisher. People are talking about using Magneto as a skirmisher in the Scourge for different reasons. I don't like I'd like to try avoiding using the double ISOs unless you're an endgame player, big wallet spender kind of thing. Probably just stick with the Raider for him, or I'm sorry, excuse me, Striker for him because of that amazing basic prolonging ability block and things like that. And then Psylocke as a striker is great. Beast as a healer is okay. He could also be a skirmisher to pair with Jubilee and Bishop. I like Bishop as the striker and Jubilee as a skirmisher. I also like Beast as the skirmisher when on defense, a healer on offense because you can spam the heal button. So those ISO changes probably should happen when you filter these characters back into the other teams. I'm not even going to grade this team because it just needs to be taken apart and completely replaced. So that's our advice for Boozey in Gold 2 at 9.5 million roster. It's very challenging thinking of areas of this game that I am not used to playing in, and that's why I need your guys' help in the comments section and on Twitch live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you want to come join us, get in this conversation. We much appreciate it. Remember, guys, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll see you next time. Bye.